Hello everybody. I was going to do an oil change on Spurt because I've got 5 litres of Smith & Allen semi-synth come in. I've got the filter. I've also got, as I saw the other day, a filter for Phyllis. So with that 5 litres, I've got more than enough to do the Z and Phyllis. Now I did a little poll on our Facebook page the other day. See if you can guess which bike has actually done the most mileage between MOTs. Bear in mind they're all sort of MOT'd around the same sort of time. So they've got the sort of same time scale on them. You know, within a couple of months. So we've got Phyllis. I thought I'd done the most mileage on Phyllis because it seemed like I used her all the while. Olive, I've used a fair bit, obviously. And then Spurtle. Now, he actually really surprised me. I know I've been doing like pilly stuff with Olive, but they've been fairly local runs, you know, like 60-70 miles at a time. But I've also been clocking up, I've clocked up about 500 to 600 miles in the last sort of 6 weeks while I've been back on testing bikes, because if I'm testing bikes I'll go to work on a bike and then I've got all my kit on. It just makes sense, it saves faffing about. Phyllis, I thought I used an awful lot, but what it is, we could go in, let's go in reverse order, and in position 3 is Phyllis. Believe it or not, between the MOTs I've done less than 500 miles. It's something like, I'll put it actually down here, the actual mileage, but it's something like 486 miles between MOTs, and I honestly thought I'd racked up a couple of thousand miles. The next is Spurt, and Spurt has literally done between MOTs that 1287 or something like that. It's 1200 and something. So that surprised me because I thought I used Spurt a lot more, but no. But obviously he was off the road for a bit because of the tyres and what have you. And obviously I had the leaking brake hose, etc. I've said this before, brake rebuild kits. I'm definitely going to rebuild that rear caliper, get it a nice gold colour. And I've got one rebuild kit for the front. Now I can't remember if I bought the complete kit. It seems utter idiocy to just buy a repair kit for one caliper because he's a 4-piston. And I've got 4 pistons. Now, did I buy the proper kit but only rebuild using new pistons where necessary? I don't know, hand gestures. Anyway, and the top one with 2,000 and something miles is Olive. So Olive, I did twice as much on Olive than I did the Z, and the Z did over twice as much as Phyllis. And then bearing in mind I'm doing anywhere between 150 and 200 miles a day on a bike at work, so my bike mileage this year is extremely healthy. I'm probably doing more in a week than some people do in a season, but you know, that's because we ride for a living. But we won't go on about that, will we? You know, buying your £30,000 Panigale and you're only doing 100 mile a year. I actually know somebody who had a Panigale and it never even got to its first service. So yes. Anyway, I was going to do it. Trying to get back on point. Oh, the point is today's beverage, because I'm not riding or driving today, I'm having a Thatcher's blood orange cider, and it's very tasty. Right. I have, you can probably see, let me sit you down on the floor. You can probably see there's a little oil residue there, look. And that bolt's wet. I believe these cover bolts have to have thread sealer on, or some of them have to have thread sealer. ZX10 was the same. So I think I'm leaking a bit of oil there, which is what this is. But there was also, I have moved the bike, there's also a little spot at the front, which suggests we've got a little oil leak at the front. Now, funny enough, I can park it at work for the day and not have a single spot of oil underneath it. So I don't know what's going off. It's not I don't think it's a crankcase breather or anything, because that would go into the airbox and get burnt. Hand gesture. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the oil anyway. I mean, she's nice and full, and it holds 3.7 litres. So I'm not even going to measure the oil out. I'm just going to literally glug it in until it gets to the line, and then I'm going to run the bike for a bit and then recheck it when it's settled. But first of all, we need to get the belly pan off, and to do that we need to take this mid strap off, which is 2 bolts, because this is really decorative. And then there should be another bolt under here. I think the panel actually bolts over the top of the belly pan. I'm not sure till I get this off again. And then we've got a mounting bracket at the back. So I'm going to do that, then bring you back when I've done it. It will be mere milliseconds for you. It could be an hour for me, you know. I might go and have a bit of cake or something, you know. But it will give us a better look at the side of the engine and see what's what. Now, bear in mind, I did spray all this with ACF 50. And then it has done a bit of winter riding as well, and you get all the shite from the road stick to the engine cases, and it can look like an oil leak and there isn't actually one. Jim, get on with it, you tit. Right folks, that's just carb clean. I've just literally just blasted out some of the fasteners so I can get an Allen key in. My initial fear was the oil cooler was leaking like it did on the ZX10, but that's dry, bone dry. But I think what I'm going to do is, once I've dumped the oil, I'm going to I'm going to have to dismount this. So just swing it out of the way, let it sit on its hoses to get to the oil filter, because otherwise I can't get in. But look what I found. A little drop of oil, and it's wet round there as well. So I think what I'm going to do is drop the oil, get this cover off, reseal it, and I'm suspecting that's not an oil bolt, that's a coolant bolt, but I'm going to clean all this area up and see if we can see where it's coming from. At the moment I'm suspecting it's coming from the cover and running down with the wind, and then it sits in the belly pan. Obviously there's foam in the belly pan, and it's just getting blown everywhere. So I'm just going to take 5 minutes, clean all this up with cleaner. Other branded names are available, and just see where we are with it. Yes, now this is a full micron, and usually what happens with aftermarket exhaust is that you can't get to the oil filter, but I'm thinking if I lower the cooler I can get straight in with the oil filter socket and do it. So right, I'm going to do a bit more and then I'll bring you back. Nice.
A few moments later.
To get the socket on the filter, I've had to drop the oil cooler, which was easy enough, but it's very dirty, look, so we're going to have to get that a soak. What I'm going to do is bring in a bowl of nice hot soapy water and just lay it in there and get rid of, just let all this soak out naturally. And then what I've got to do now is move this. This is the bar that holds the cooler. And it's proving to be a little bit of a twat, but we shall get there. Yes. Remind me to put a standard exhaust system on it. Off now. This is probably the first time it's been off since the bike was built. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get us a good wire wheeling and give it some hammer right before it goes back on. Clean all the mud off, get the old wire wheel on it. But now I can get to the oil filter A. Yes, I sort of knew I was going to have a bit of a struggle with this one because of the aftermarket exhaust, but to be fair, it's this that's caused the problem, because that lower bar is obviously right in line with where you put your doodah, and you can't get a wiggly bit in. Yes, technical terminology. Oh yes, some nice foaming cleaner there to soften everything up. Yes, I know I'm effing and jeffing and I'm moaning about stuff, but at least now I couldn't have changed the oil on Spurt when I had him. I think I actually, did the old sniff and dip test and figured out, yeah, it's good enough, and just concentrated on getting through the MOT. So now at least I've got peace of mind that it's got fresh oil, fresh filter. So that's a good thing, folks. It is. And the bolts actually come out, even though I had a bit of a fight. I haven't rounded any of the heads off or anything, so they'll get a good old dose of the old anti-seize before they go in. But other than that, it's not a bad job. Better than what I thought once I'd got that cross brace out of the way. And now we know that we've got to do that, and we can just lay the cooler down. Well, it's no biggie, is it? Shall we have another little bit of Tom Baker? Yeah, go on. I can't get enough of Tom Baker. Take it away, Tom.
Every little master, every little miss, there behind the greenhouse, having a lovely yoo-hoo, nanny. Titties.
One on me, I've got a high flow filter, which I've used before, but I think I've used the paper cartridges. It's pre-lubed. So yeah, no need to dip your finger in the old oil and whack it on. These should only be literally and tight and about a quarter turn, same as a spark plug. But I am going to put it on with a socket, but as soon as I get a bit of resistance, I'm going to stop. But first of all, I'm going to write the date on it, or scratch the date in it, so we know. Well, we know by video reference, but that's no good, is it, penis? Well, hello there. I've just took the front sprocket cover off and just dealt with a little bit of corroded wiring. It was a little corroded terminal, nothing too bad, but I thought while I'm knobbing around and waiting for the paint to dry on that front bracket, I'll do it. Why not do these little jobs while you've got the bodywork off? Yes, the paint job on the front bracket, I've literally just give it a quick whee with the wire wheel, and I've just twatted some hammerite straight to rust on it, basically in silver, and it looks absolutely terrible, which is perfect. Yes, filters back on, drain plugs are in. Did I show you? I did actually take that one out as well. Just resealed this cover with a bit of, because I haven't got the gasket, a bit of the old blue High Lamar. If it's good enough for Rolls Royce jet engines, it's good enough for a little Kawasaki, which is my view. So the oil's about ready to go back in. I'm just going to leave that's actually soaking in some cleaner. I've soaked it with some muck off and stuff, so I'm just going to leave that to soak for a bit because it won't hurt. You know what I mean? It won't hurt. So while I'm waiting for the paint to dry, I've got Smith and Allen, and it's 5 litres of. Oh, that didn't go to plan, did it? It's 5 litres of limitless semi-synth, and you basically pay the same. What we're looking for there, look, is the JSO, which is the Japanese oil standard, so it matches the Japanese oil standard basically. You can put fully synth in if you want. It's a waste of money in my opinion. If you're changing regularly, you're not doing mega miles, fully synth, absolute waste of money. Unless and the other thing that gets me go, I've always put 1040 in bikes, always, and cars, because it's the weight, you know what I mean? It was the common weight. I've noticed as stuff's getting newer and newer, you're starting to go to like 0.30, you know, 5 fucking whatever, and that just means I've spoke to some mechanic friends of mine, and I've also seen it on a couple of mechanics on YouTube who work on the newer stuff, and they say they're seeing more engine wear using this thinner oil than they are with the old stock 1040. So because this is an old bird, I am sticking semi in it, and it's like I say, it's Smith and Allen. You'll find them on eBay. They've got their own store on eBay. You won't pay any more on eBay than you will by going to their website, which is shown there. It's good stuff, and I have spent approximately half of my testing life developing oils, and I will tell you now, there is pretty much no such thing as bad oil anymore. Even Smith & Allen do good quality mineral oils for the older stuff. Even that would work perfectly fine in this, to be honest. So, you know, this is the same price for 5 litres as you'd pay for a cheap, branded, you know, well-known oil for 4. In fact, the last, I think, 4 litres I bought for the ZX10 was 70 quid. And that was like Castrol Edge or something fucking ludicrous. This wasn't. This was about £25 to £29 for 5 litres. And I'm really happy with that, because I can do the Z at 3.7, and I can do Phyllis at just under 1, all out of 1 bottle, and I've still got a bit of top up left. Excellent. Highly recommend Smith & Allen. Go and check them out on eBay, and I'll probably drop a link in the description if I can remember. Right, I've just let the bike sit for a bit, and just check for leaks. Sump plug's dry, oil filter is dry, where I suspected it was leaking oil through the cover is dry, and the other plug's dry. So happy joy. I'm just going to check the line union up there by the filter, because that was wet with oil, but that could have been just what was blown across it. So yeah, happy joy. When I started the bike up, you'll probably hear it on video. There was a rattle. Now bear in mind that clutches can be noisy when they're wearing out. I don't know the age of this clutch, you see. You will hear you'll hear a bit of a rattly from the clutch sometimes, clutch basket. But what it were, I came down here, and these headers have no springs, and this header here was actually a little bit loose. I've just tapped it back in, but I need to order a couple of springs, because I actually noticed it the other day riding along, and I'm thinking, shit, something metal is loose. But it turns out that's all it is, and a spring will cure it. I've got the wind because I've just gulped a can of iron brew. Oh yes, and I've just ate a Star Bar. Oh, I love Star Bar. It's the law that you have to sing along. Right, everything's buttoned up. I'm tempted to leave the belly pan off. I've got to give it a good clean inside for a start, and I have not done so. I've just given the filter a quick wipage around, because I didn't get the cloth all the way around before, and I saw a spot of oil and thought, shit. But that's all bolted back on. Have you seen my terribly painted bracket? Absolute shite. Perfect. So oil coolers back mounted. All the bolts all going okay. I've anti-seized a lot of them. And obviously, we'll see now. What I might do, there's a bit of water coming out the exhaust, because obviously you get condensation water in the exhaust, so there was a little bit there. That's nothing to worry about. Good run will get rid of that. So yes, I'll see, but I'm tempted to leave the belly pan off for the first run, and then I can do a leak check afterwards, and then, you know, clean up the old belly pan and sort it out that way. Jim, you waffling, shut up. Okay, I've shut up, and I've definitely got enough to do Phyllis, because Phyllis is only about 800 millilitres. So what I might do, now he's all buttoned up, is tuck Phyllis in the corner, shove this out, bring Phyllis in, and do Phyllis. I may as well. There's plenty of room in the oil can. Nice.
A few inches later.
Have you seen, I've just done the Z. I've left the belly pan off, because I need to clean all that gubbins inside. But yes, Spurt's out there now, basking in the sun. I'm going to do the oil change on Phyllis while I'm here. There's enough room in the can, and there's definitely enough oil, so I may as well. So first things first, I've warmed it up. Oil pan under the bike. It's a 14mm nut. But first of all, we unscrew this. Just rest it on the top. So unscrew the filler, and that'll make it drain easier, and just rest it. Nice. There you have it, folks. Two good jobs done that. Phyllis was due a change, and Spurt, I couldn't have changed the oil in Spurt when I had him. I think I gave it the old sniff test and the old dippy slippy test, but I couldn't have done it. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll have to have a look back in my old diary to see if I've done it, but that is a job done, and I've done it all with a one can, and I've still got a little bit left for a top up. Spurt, it says 3.7 something litres. To get it the correct level in the sight glass, it actually took a little bit more, and this has took a little bit more after running it up. So 3.7 is maybe not with a filter. I don't know, really don't know, but I'm just going by the sight glass. So sorted. But yeah, so I'm happy now. I've just got to tidy my crap up, get the bikes in, and then I'm going to game a bit on my PC. I think I'm playing Star Wars Outlaws at the moment. I think it's brilliant, but I'm possibly in a minority. Yes.